Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the Knicks Recap and Reaction Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen, joined by Tony Crow. Knicks and Bruises, my guy. If you guys don't know, I can't tell you how many shows, we've done together. The chemistry is always good. I miss it, man. I miss you, and I'm happy you were available to do the show today.
Hey, I'm glad to be back. I miss you too, Queen. You know what I mean? But it's like a reunion, So it's, a family reunion is always good to have those.
Definitely. But Tony's a content creator. He's the owner of Knicks and Bruises YouTube channel. The QR code right over his head is to his channel. So if you haven't already, subscribe. I'll also put the link in the show description after the show. Anyway, the Knicks squeak out a win, survive, whatever you want to call it, in Atlanta against the Hawks. What was it? 128 to 125 or something of the sort. Listen, you could say, oh man, and be down that they had an 18-point lead and they lost it. And for me, I'm just super excited about how this team is always finding a way to win, no matter what. You take away the second chance points, we'll figure it out. Take away the 3-point shooting, we'll figure it out. A big lead disintegrates, we'll figure it out. And that's the team, that we're watching of late or this season. And, a big kudos to the young players. Listen, this is what you want. This is what you want. Situational players, when the situation arises, to come in and give you positive minutes. And that's what we got from Diawara last night in his 16 minutes. That's what we got from McCullough last night in his 24 minutes. Kolek, not so much, but you're not going to be great every single game. You understand? Like, that's just part of the development of a young player, ups and downs. Even veterans have ups and downs. So super excited about the win last night. What's your initial thoughts before we dive into it?
Well, you spoke about our chemistry, right? And right off the back, it's just like old times. I was going exactly where you went, finding a way to win, winning in different ways. It just shows the versatility of this team, right? Guys stepping up, different guys stepping up nightly, it seems like, right? Nightly, we have a different guy who's maybe unexpected to come in and make some kind of impact. And that's how you know this team is becoming dangerous.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the thing that killed us last year, I believe, is we became a one-trick pony. Right. And once you got to, focusing on Brunson, it became challenging for us to find other ways to score, find other guys to score, find other guys to create. And now it's just like you don't know where it's coming from on a nightly basis. And this team is becoming very dangerous. Blew the lead, but found a way to win. And Brunson's been saying that all year long.
Right.
Find a way to win.
Yeah. And Brunson has been consistent. Yeah, he's not the only one, but he's been, fairly consistent. I think last year it was Brunson and Cat. Then after that, you didn't really know. To me, I feel like it's Brunson. I think Cat's with the rest of them. He just gets it on any given night, depending on, how the game goes. And, we talked about this a lot last year about the Knicks process and leaving meat on the bone and like not really taking advantage of all of the opportunities that they had. And this year, that's not the case. Early in the season, I felt like if they came across a really good defensive team that took away options for them, we reverted back to Brunson ball. But I feel like this year, I mean, later in the year, as the year has progressed, our process has gotten better in terms of figuring out what they're taking away and then how we can take, how we can take advantage of it. And to your point, you can't really key on, you can load up on Brunson if you want to, but we have decision makers in that lineup. I think having Hart in that lineup, if you were to double Brunson and you get it to Hart, it's a 4-on-3. He knows how to find the open player. I forgot what game it was late in the game. They double Brunson, the ball got to Kolek, and he knows what to do with a 4-on-3. So yeah, just really, really enjoying the team. Getting into last night's game, what who or what stood out for you? I'll let you lead off with that, and I'll piggyback off of it. First,
stand out. I mean, it's got to go to the. It's got to go to the two young guys off the back, right? You mentioned it to start the show. Diawara gets the start, gets 16 minutes. I thought he played good in his 16 minutes. He's been getting more and more opportunity, pretty later in the season, and he doesn't seem rattled. He doesn't seem like a deer in headlights. You know what I mean? Like some young guys usually do. It looks like he's been playing well in practice, and it's kind of translating. You know what I mean? It looks like Mike Brown has seen something, and he's like, all right, let me give him a shot. McCullough, I mean, you talk about being ready and staying ready. A guy, this might be, I think they said like his 8th game. That might have been his 8th NBA game of like actual playing time.
It comes in minutes though, not minutes like this, right? 8 minutes,
little minutes, but just in general, general to be the 8th game,
right?
Even though this is his 2nd year, right? It's encouraging that we've been waiting for this kid in a sense. A lot of us have, you know what I mean? Like we knew he had the Josh Hart comparison, and he comes in and shows it right off the bat, looking like Josh Hart out there, filling up the stat sheet, playing good defense. Another one that earlier when he played, those other 7 games, he looked a little rattled sometimes. He looked a little out of place sometimes. Now he looks like he's settled in, and so it's great to see those two guys step into those roles. And more importantly, as Knicks fans, we talk about trades and things all the time. As content creators, we find things to talk about, and a lot of times it'd be, hey, we need a wing, we need another wing, and these are two young wings waiting in the background, like, hey, I might not have to look too far. We you know what I mean? Like, just continue to develop us, continue to give us some honest minutes, and you may not have to look far for guys that could contribute.
Yeah, for sure. Diawara last night didn't shoot well, just 2 for 7 from the field, but 5 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, +8. And to your point with McCullough, in his 23.5 minutes, 24 minutes, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 of them offensive. That's definitely Josh Hart-like, right? 2 assists, 2 steals. He was +5 as well. So yeah, I thought both of them played well, and that's what you want. That's what you want. You want positive minutes when you get that, when you get the opportunity to play. And we got positive minutes from both of them last night. I want to go to OG Anunoby, who did not shoot well. Some would argue didn't play well until the 4th quarter. Had the goaltending that put them up, And then in the 4th quarter, he has, 9 of his, 15 points. He has 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, none bigger than the one that sealed the game. Went to the free throw line 7 times, made all 7, of the free throws. And again, we could talk about a team, having that bounce back ability, but that doesn't happen unless the individual players have that. And that's what we saw in OG, Anunoby last night. Just his ability to take over the game from a defensive perspective, he was, and all season, he's been phenomenal. But this is somebody, and Mike Brown said, I don't know if he used the word killer instinct, but just basically, he's somebody that if every single possession digs in, like
imposes his will, he said.
Imposes his will. This is who you get. He can change a game. And we've seen that before. He's just a very dynamic player. And when teams are making a comeback, you definitely do need timely shots, to kind of keep them at bay. But you need stops as well. And none bigger than that last one. So just talk to me a little bit about OG Anunoby last night.
I'm gonna go back and forth. Mike Brown. Mm-hmm. I love the fact in the post game interview he's bigging up OG and championing him to be an all-star, right? The same way he's been yelling at everybody about Brunson being the MVP. He's like, what you was mentioning earlier, he's like, hey, if this guy wants to be an all-star, he could be an all-star. If he imposes his will night in and night out, he could be an all-star. So I just love how Mike Brown's bigging up his guys and giving them these boosts of confidence to kind of push them forward. And yeah, OG, he's been solid, but the defense, man, that's the mainstay. He got to be aggressive offensively. I agree he can be an all-star if he asserts himself offensively, but his moneymaker is his defense, right? And to come up with that big stop at the end, you know what I mean, seal the game. It's not. I go back and forth. I like seeing a game winner 3 and offensive plays, but a defensive stop at the end of the game, I might like that a little bit more. Like I'm thinking about how I felt with the McHale stops back-to-back games against Boston. You know what I mean? OG, he seems like he gets those mid-court steals, fast breaks at least once or twice a game, but to seal it, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. Thing.
Yeah. It's just a good mix of talent and skill level on this team. Everybody is bought in. The chemistry is good. Yeah, I'm just liking what I'm seeing. Where do you want to go next? We did the young guys. We did OG. Where do you want to go next?
Brunson Burner, I guess. You know what I mean? He's on a tier. He's on a tier.
Yeah. 38 minutes, 34 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 15 of 29 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3. None bigger than that 89-foot 3-point shot with like a little over a minute. Gave
left. Us the lead, right?
It gave us the lead. Yeah,
because they took the lead. Yeah, man. I mean, what can you say? He's still shocking me. Year after year. I think he's at like 29 points per game. It looks like he's gonna hit that 30 mark this year for points per game, raising his stock in that MVP conversation. It started at 5, you know what I mean? I think he's pushing the 4 right now, and it's gonna be tough to out MVP Shea and out MVP Jokic.
Yeah.
But I got him falling at 3 by the end of the year. You know what I mean? I have him right behind those 2 guys by the end of the year.
Yeah. And shout out to Mike Brown for understanding narrative. I remember a few years ago, Quickly wasn't even in the 6th man of the year race. And then somebody started talking about him as 6th man, bringing it to the national media's attention. The next thing you know, he was on the ladder. So narratives matter. And Mike Brown pushing Brunson for the MVP, mentioning McHale and OG as all-stars, those 2 things mean a lot, because a lot of times you want whoever's voting to be plugged into everything that's happening around the league, but that may not be the case. They may not be doing their due diligence. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you gotta send them the clips, you know.
Right. Exactly. So kudos to Mike Brown for for understanding that. Brunson has been solid. Like he's averaging the most points he's averaged in his career, and it doesn't look like it. Like I was surprised. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like he's carrying the stone up the hill. You know what I mean? So yeah, we got one. I say that all the time. We got one. Doesn't matter how he's playing, first quarter, second quarter, crunch time. He comes through. He comes through for us.
And I don't want to necessarily divert, but just to go back to Mike Brown again, like, and how it relates to Brunson, it doesn't look like it. Part of that is because of this new offense, right?
Right.
Part of that is because his shots, he gets a lot easier shots than he's gotten in the past. He's off the ball a lot more than he's been in the past. So that, to me, I got to give Mike Brown his credit on that and making those adjustments. And then, like you said about, pushing for his guys. Number one, that just boosts the confidence of the individual player. It boosts the confidence of the team. You talk about Mikal and OG and Brunson. I mean, he's been pushing Tyler Kolek as well. You know what I mean? And pushing him without praising him, which is something I really, really like. Like, it's like, no, we need this from him. No, he could do more. Yeah, he was good, but he wasn't great. You know what I mean? Like, and even the whole, the 10 shots in the first half thing, and Tyler coming back. Like, I made shots, in the second half. Like, it's just you're watching it grow. You're watching him build guys up. You're watching these guys grow a level of trust in their coach, and vice versa.
And vice versa.
And those things are those things are gonna pay off in the long run.
Yeah. Mike Brown is what they said, if you're going to criticize somebody, compliment them first, criticize them in the middle. Same thing with Cat. When Cat had, 89 points, and then he fouled out the last game, and he he gave him his props. He said, that's fine, but what does that mean if you can't stay on the floor? When we need you. So yeah, just super excited about Mike Brown as well. For me, I'm more excited about the schematics, the lineups, the adjustments, because that's what you're going to need in the playoffs. So that's what I've been focusing on, and give kudos to the players too, because he can pull the strings and they not deliver, and then we're having a different conversation right now, right? But he's pulling the strings and they are delivering, and that's what makes this a really, really good team right now. And we're only going to get better. This is December. This is December. And you know what? He's finding out about guys. Like, putting Diawara in, whether they play well or not, but it gives you some sense of who they are as a player in an NBA game. So down the stretch, and maybe even in the playoffs, if you have to play them, you're not sitting there saying, I don't really know who I'm putting in.
Me and Sim like to call it collecting data. You know what I mean? Collecting data now, and now you have that information when it comes down to the playoffs. And again, this is the other beautiful thing about what we're seeing with this team. These impacts, these small impacts from multiple guys and random guys throughout the year. Now you could envision a guy like Clarkston winning us a series. You know what I mean? Him being the X factor in this particular series. Another guy being the X factor in a different series. You know what I mean? Like, you got guys that step up at different moments, but we become a lot more interchangeable. You know what I mean? Somebody might sit a whole series and then come in the next one and be the X factor.
Right.
And that goes back to how dangerous this team can become.
But in order for that to happen, though, you have to have somebody like Mike Brown who would do that. Right. And he seems to me like somebody who would do that, who would say, I don't think this is the series for so-and-so and that person, that player not get any minutes or maybe a little bit of minutes. And then the next series saying, this is a so-and-so series. I could see them impacting this series. So yeah, definitely, definitely like what I'm seeing from the team and like what I'm seeing from Mike Brown. He's everything I wanted him to be. Right. He was my choice. If he was going to get rid of Tom Thibodeau and they was talking about the different coaches, particular coaches, Mike Brown name came up. I want Mike Brown,
And he wasn't high on my list, to be honest.
He was not. Who was?
Well, here's the thing, to be honest. I wasn't a fan of the firing. Let's keep it 100. And then the statement. So it wasn't necessarily about Mike Brown. The statement the Knicks put out, I felt like they could not go with a younger, inexperienced, less experienced coach. So I wasn't mad with Mike Brown. I just felt like that statement was putting whoever was in the realm under, what I mean, like under the hot seat before they even got sat down. Yeah. So you know what I mean.
And that's still the case, Tony.
Believe me,
that is still the case, right? That was the gamble. That was the gamble that we're going to bring in somebody who has a different process than Tom Thibodeau in terms of how they like to operate, who's going to be better schematically or at least bring in schemes that better fit our group. And when we do that, we're going to get further. We're going to get to the NBA Finals. That's the gamble. And we're not going to know whether that gamble pays off until May or June. So I love everything Mike Brown is doing. I love everything this team is doing. But I'm not judging Mike Brown against Tom Thibodeau. Like, I see a lot of that. Look what Mike Brown is doing. He's doing this. Tom Thibodeau never. But that's not the score to keep. I'm not giving Mike Brown points because he's doing things different from Tom Thibodeau. Right. I'm giving Mike Brown points because from what I see him doing compared to at least what I feel you need to have to win in the playoffs, I feel like this kind of bodes well. This bodes well for us going further than we did last year. I'm not keeping score about Mike Brown and Tom Thibodeau, particularly when we're just in December. So you keep a score of somebody through December from somebody who has who was here 5 years, right? That's not where I'm at. Mike Brown and this team is going to be judged by how far they go in the playoffs. And that doesn't change no matter what we're experiencing now. That doesn't change.
But there's some things, I'll say this, I'm becoming more of a fan of him night in and night out. Yeah. Like from the first press conference, when they asked him about the pressure and he basically embraced it and said, like, that's what I want. You know what I mean? Like, if there's pressure, that means we're a good team. You know what I mean? Like we should be going somewhere. I do worry sometimes that he does speak a lot, and in this media, in New York media, you know, the more you speak, the more chances you have to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna lie, I love a lot of what he says. And he's grown on me a lot. Like, I love the way he talks about the players. I love the fact that he holds himself accountable publicly. You know what I mean? He'll call out his own mistakes. Maybe I should have did this. Maybe I shouldn't have did this. You know what I mean? To me, that's a beautiful thing. And again, that bodes well with the players. Like, the players gotta love the fact that a coach is gonna take some bullets as well. Right. You know what I mean? Rather than just point the finger.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, he's everything I wanted him to be up until this point. Let's talk a little bit about Cat last night, who was just a monster. And he played less than 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes. 36 points, 16 rebounds, 17 of 18 from the free throw line on shooting splits of 53.3, 50%, and 94.4. He
Mm.
was just a monster all the way through. What did you see from Cat last night? And if you want to throw into what you've seen overall, that's great too. I'm interested in your thoughts on his role this season. But yeah, what did you see last night?
He seems to play Atlanta very well since he's been with the Knicks. I don't know if it's the Ricochet guy that he gets up for, but it's almost like he got a grudge against him. He treat him like Wimby treat Chet. You know what I mean? Like they got history or something. Because I want to say he's had his best games as a Knick, or at least a handful of them against Atlanta. He was great. It's good for him to have these games, even if they're gonna be sporadic. You know what I mean, or a few in between. But I'm not down on his year, even
Mhm.
though the numbers are a little bit down. They're still great numbers. They're still all-star numbers. They're still all NBA numbers. I think he's had the biggest adjustment for anybody on his team. But then it goes back to sacrifice, right? Because we knew, with it being more of a spread out offense and equal opportunity offense, it's going to be daily sacrifices for everybody. I think he's just the guy that's actually, whether it's willingly or unwillingly or just accidentally or intentional, he's the guy that seemingly has the biggest sacrifice this year. But on the flip side of that, I think the team has taken the biggest sacrifice too, because
Mhm.
him starting at the five, it took away. And I'm not against it or anything. It took away the double big, you know what I mean? But what it did was it solidified him in a spot. I think when he was really looking shaky was when he was at the four, and he had to learn Mike Brown's
Mhm.
offense from the four position compared to
Mhm.
his offense at the five position. And Mike was speaking about that all year, early in the year. The four has to know 1, 2, 3, and 4. And
Mhm.
and I think once he got settled in at the five, as much as Josh Hart has to do with the success of the team, I think Cat's defense got better. Um, Once he settled
Absolutely.
in at the five, I think he's played a little bit better since he settled in at the five. It's almost
Mhm.
like he had less to think about, you know what I mean? And he could just play his game. So
Yeah.
I expect him to continue to, ramp it up now that he's getting more comfortable with his role at the five, less at the four. You know what I mean? Less to learn, less to think about.
Surprised that his shots are sporadic. Like some games
Five shots.
he'll get, yeah, and in other games he'll get a lot of shots. So it doesn't seem to be that pecking order, so to speak, where you knew Brunson and Cat were going to take the most amount of shots. Do you think that's by design? Do you think that's just the fact that OG and Mikal have really stepped up in their role? And you can argue that maybe their shots is just as good as a Cat shot. Just your thoughts on that.
I don't think it's by design per se. I think it's just how it's playing out. Um, because I would like there to be there to be a pecking order. I
Mhm.
would like there to be times where seemingly we can go to Cat, run the offense through Cat, and things of that nature. Um, but I was calling for that more last year as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's I don't what I
Might
mean,
be
I
a
can't
Cat
really,
thing.
yeah, it's too early for me to
Yeah,
like pinpoint it.
yeah, 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 for sure.
That's a
All right.
great question though. Like, I don't know if it's Mike Brown, designed by Mike Brown. I don't know if it's. I expected Brunson's shots to go down, Cat shots to go down, and then collectively everybody else to kind of go up. Um, Brunson's shots haven't really dropped. You know what I mean? They haven't really gone down. Um,
getting them from different places. I think taking more threes this year, probably less mid range. I would have to see if that still holds. I know that was the case earlier in the season. We'll see. I want to get to the chat. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, Atlanta coming in had lost 5 straight, so they're not, playing well. And this was almost a get right game for them before the Knicks closed it out. And the same thing with Cleveland, right? They hadn't been playing well coming into that game. Was almost a get right game for them. Knicks closed them out.
Both their coaches spoke on that too.
Oh yeah.
Basically, both their coaches kind of spoke on them like moral victories.
Right.
And I'm just like, wow. Like we try not to have moral victories as Knicks fans, not at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
And these guys are both underachieving, both those teams, Cleveland and Atlanta, and they getting moral victories against us.
And we in here, man down, still, still making it work. Robinson last night, 18 minutes, 6 points, 9 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds, and assists. Bridges didn't play well in that fourth quarter, I have to tell you. But overall, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, plus 9 overall. Clarkson, not a good night for him, shooting night. Kolek, not a good night, shooting night for him. He was 1 of 6. Clarkson was 1 of 5. But this is what I love about this team. Like we talked about, somebody else steps in, a Diawara and a McCullough, and so now Kolek and Clarkson not playing well doesn't hurt us as much. All right. Before we get to the chat, just an injury update. Shamet has resumed full on-court basketball activities. Contact is next. He's expected to be back next month. He started the 3 games before the injury. I doubt if he takes Josh Hart's place, given how that starting unit has played with Hart in the lineup. Now, Hart is out for the next 2 games. Does Shamet come back within that time? What happens? Good decisions for Mike Brown. McBride he's close. He was actually questionable versus Atlanta. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back over one of these next 2 games. Bridges and Clarkson have been the only ones to play in every game this season. Everyone else has missed a few games. All right, let's get to the chat. Super chats first, of course. Jason Benjamin, appreciate you. What a development we are seeing. Kolek, McCullough, and Diawara. This is what happens when you empower young players. Cat was a dominant performance, in my opinion. Appreciate you for that. And then we have another one from Jason Benjamin. I know Brunson is our guy and MVP, but some of those possessions in the fourth were not great. Can't complain too much because we won, but was frustrating, in my opinion. Any thoughts on that?
I think that second one, well, both are spot on, but the second one I agree with. After he hit that big 3 you spoke of, I thought he took definitely one more bad shot that was a 3, possibly 2. Luckily, offensive rebound, second chance points, and another possession, got us that win.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm willing to live and die with Brunson, and we know he's Mr. Clutch, Captain Clutch. You know what I mean? So he's gonna take those. You know what I mean? He's gonna take those. It's a fine line. But I agree. I was frustrated at times in the moment. Even that previous game, the Cavs game, when Kolek took that big shot, I know he missed it. I think Cat got the rebound. But if you go back to that play, I remember watching and yelling because Brunson was kind of trying to get the ball back from Kolek before Kolek, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, like get out the way. You bringing another defender to him, number one, right. And 2, you know what I mean? Like, let the man get his opportunity. Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's still a learning curve for Brunson in that manner of sharing the wealth and
And
you know what I
trusting.
mean. I'm sorry.
And trusting.
Yeah, and trusting. You know what I mean. So,
Mhm.
but I agree.
Yep. Yep. All right. Shout out to Wayne Peterson, East Blue Drew, Wiz in the house. I appreciate you. Okay. Wayne Peterson, if I'm the Knicks, if McCullough keeps playing like this, I'm converting him to a standard contract. He looked amazing last night. Let's see how much. I mean, he should get at least 2 more opportunities because Hart is not playing the next 2 games. So yeah, let's see. And I'm sure they're also looking at his G League play, looking at his play in practice as well. Wiz, this is my birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy
Wiz.
birthday.
We'll celebrate that Thursday. And plus you should be on, Wiz. Be prepared Thursday to come on the show. This is my birthday, and I want to thank Kat, Brunson, OG, my new grandson, Kevin, aka Wiz Jr. McCullough, and my coach of the year with his assistance. Yeah, yeah. Kudos to you, Wiz.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah. Um,
You got another super chat too.
I do. Okay. Let me get to that. Jamrock always. I appreciate you. Brunson is averaging 26 shots per game over the last 7. Okay. Issues with that, Jamrock? Issues with that chat replay gang? Let me know.
It's just an observation that the shots is going up.
East Blue Drew, this team is going to be so scary in the next couple of weeks. The next couple of weeks, the rest of the season, the playoffs, if they keep playing like this. Walter White, I appreciate you. Okay, let's see. Trying to spread the chat wealth. Let's see. Mohamed Diawara did a few good things, but he did more space head things. I don't know. I mean, he didn't shoot well last night. But to me, I don't think that's his bread and butter right now anyway. I think his bread and butter is his defense, his length, the rebounding. He has a good feel for the game. Like the pass, he made a good pass. I forgot who it was to. He just has a really good feel for the game. He's somewhat raw though. But listen, give them. I'm a fan. I know everybody say I'm against young people. I'm not. It depends on the position you're putting them in. But having a 9th or 10th guy that you want to groom and bring along, and he's averaging 8 to 12 minutes a game, that bodes well for this team. Even if he doesn't get in the rotation this year, like a bigger role, for years to come, he's going to be better ready next year. He's going to be better ready the year after that, and potentially step in and become a rotation player or even a starter, right? So I like what I'm seeing from Diawara. And let me tell you, he reminds me of McBride in McBride's first year. McBride would come in, he'd get 3 minutes, he'd put up 2 shots. That's Diawara. He may not be a good shooter to me, but you can't tell him that because every time he gets a good opportunity, he's putting it up.
And that's honestly, to me, that's one of the things I do like about him. Like he's aggressive. You know what I mean? Like
aggressive.
So like that's always gonna bode well. I'd rather teach it. I'd rather have to tell a guy to dial it down than have to push a guy to, you know what I mean, to dial it up. So
yeah.
And he's super young still. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to live with some rookie mistakes, but the demeanor, the confidence, like all that, I'll take that at a young age and live with the mistakes.
Yeah. Walter White, I think McCullough runs Daddy A spot. He's 2 inches shorter, but way better defensively. Shout out to you, David Smith. I appreciate you. Brahim, OG, and Mikkel did a great job on Jalen Johnson last night. Absolutely. David Smith. Cat finally got the ball in the touches, and look what happened. Listen, we already know what Cat can do.
And
Jamrock
Cat, he got
always.
to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Like we talk about with Diawara. He seemingly is always aggressive against Atlanta. You know what I mean? He has to bring that energy night in and night out.
Yeah. And he has to be strong with the ball. I just feel like there's sometimes when he gets the ball, he's too floppy. I don't know if he's trying to draw the foul or whatever it is, but you got to be strong with the ball. They call it, they don't. All right. I know I'm in the minority, but I do not like the defense we are playing. And I don't really like the hero ball shooting JB has been doing recently, really taking bad shots, I guess. Yeah. I I might be in the minority on this. I feel like the Knicks defense is solid, not spectacular, solid. And I just believe that in the playoffs they're gonna turn it up. Like we've seen it. We've seen it. And I just feel like they're gonna turn it up. Your thoughts on the defense and Brunson shots?
I think the defense hasn't peaked yet, but I think our defensive guys. First of all, I gotta give Cat credit again. I think his defense has improved. Probably the best I've seen, so far this year. But our defensive guys have been great. You know what I mean? And Deuce missed some time. He's a big part of our defensive abilities, our identity, but our defensive guys have been playing great. I think some of our guys who have been expected to be defensive liabilities, Tyler Kolek, defense has been great. I mean, look at the end of last game. Kolek's on the floor. You know what I mean? While Brunson's sitting on the offense defense substitution, he took Brunson out and left Kolek in. Like that's got to tell you something about this. You know what I mean? About this kid and what he's doing defensively, and that's all IQ based. You know what I mean? That's not based off of defensive attributes and size and strength and you know what I mean? That's just a basketball IQ. I think our defense is on the rise and has been getting better throughout the year. It was really bad in the beginning of the year. We still tend to give up a couple open threes. We still tend to give up a couple of open lanes to the rim. But I think it's getting better still.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Mike Brown is quick to call a timeout off a defensive lapse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether we're up, you know what I mean? Whether we're down, whether it's a run. Like if he sees something that he don't like defensively, he's calling that timeout. And he's correcting it immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Kerry Cox. Now y'all know why I said I wanted OG Anunoby on the Knicks. Yeah, he's been calling for it for years.
And I think you have another super chat too.
Okay. OG defensive stops are so clutch. For sure.
Mikhail too.
Vaughn Allen, 3849. Appreciate you. Been super busy last couple of months, but still catching y'all shows on the replay. Always a breath of fresh air to hear y'all analysis. Love y'all. Love you too, Vaughn Allen. Appreciate you.
Likewise.
Rocking with us. Listen, we all have different, takes on the game, different takes on players, but we are collective, That's just it. We get a chance to just come in here and hash it out and agree, or disagree. Coach Mike Brown keeps publicly throwing Cat under the bus for his fouls and falls to the ground. Never have I seen a coach throw a star player under the bus and to never have his back. That wasn't the one I wanted to highlight. It was this one, but it's almost like a continuation. Why doesn't Mike Brown ever publicly call out Brunson? Brunson 2 late turnovers, and Brown pulled Brunson for the last 30 minutes of the game. Didn't say why. I mean,
I mean, that was the defensive substitution, and the way the game played. If he brought Brunson back in, it would have been right back on. It would have been on the defensive end because it was a free throw. So if he brought Brunson back in, he would end up on the floor on a defensive possession. So I think number one, that's holding that's the most accountable you can hold a player by pulling him. You know what I mean? Pulling him on a defensive assignment, like right there. You telling him and acknowledging that, hey, we need defenders out there. You know what I mean. So about the calling out publicly, I can't. You know what I mean. I have no. He don't call Brunson out publicly. He hasn't yet. You know what I mean? I don't think it's beyond him though. If it's warranted, I think he will. You know, if it's a loss, I think he will. You know what I mean? And Brunson's been a stronghold. I think he wants more from Cat. So I think this is how he's trying to push him. It's just like he did with, I mean, I'm not comparing the two, but he did it with Kolek. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not praising him. I'm pushing him. I want this consistently. You know what I mean? I want this. This is what he's capable of. I'm not gonna give him extra praise, but and maybe I missed the comments on him, like throwing him under the bus as far as Cat. I
mean, he did bring up the fact that he wasn't happy with the fact that he fouled out in, was it the last game?
Cleveland.
The game Brunson didn't.
No, not Cleveland. The loss.
The Minnesota game. I think he scored like 800 points and fouled out. And he praised him for that. That was the sandwich comment I was talking about, like praising him for it. I know he could do that. I'm not surprised by him doing that. But if you want to be great in this league, basically you need to stay on the floor. So maybe that's what he's talking about. And maybe that's why the ball isn't going through Cat. Maybe Cat hasn't earned his, I don't want to say hasn't earned his trust, but yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Cat has had some real low games this year, like you mentioned, the low shot attempts, 5 shot attempts. You know what I mean? Things that we talked about this early last year when we first got it. Like, this is unacceptable. You should not have 5 attempts in the game. And, you know what I mean? But we'll see that. You know what I mean? Probably once a month from him. You know, hopefully not more than twice a month from him.
But he's not featured at all, though. That was one of the things that we thought would happen when Mike Brown came here, right? Just thinking about how they played in Sacramento. Maybe he feels that, his decision-making is not as good as Sabonis. Maybe he feels that the more the ball is in Cat's hand, it's away from out of Brunson's hands, and Sabonis and Fox, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
That's, taking the ball out of Fox's hands is not the same as taking the ball out of Brunson's hand. Maybe, I'm not sure.
No, I think that's true in a sense, because I think you'll see the ball run through Cat way more when Brunson's off the court and Cat is on the court than you will when Brunson's on the court. I still think he has to learn Cat a little bit more, because you do see him featuring Cat as in certain spots, and he spoke about it. Put him at the elbow and looking for cutters, put him at the top of the 3-point line looking for cutters. So I think he's slowly implementing it, but maybe he's still learning Cat as well.
Yeah. Kerry Cox, Cat doesn't always play well enough. Well enough to feature him, you mean, or just well enough, period? Okay. Vaughn Allen, 100 true accountability and collaboration by the organization, top to bottom. Can't wait to see how we handle adversity if these injuries aren't it now. We was talking about this, Tone, maybe like a week ago. A lot of what we're attributing to Mike Brown, can also be organizational stuff as well, right? In terms of the minutes, in terms of playing the younger guys. I don't know if this is all Mike Brown's. Well, first of all, the injury is forcing Mike Brown's hand, right? So, part of it is the narrative out there that, oh, Mike Brown is playing. The injuries are forcing Mike Brown's hands right now. To his credit, though, even with the injuries, I'm not sure Thibodeau would have went to McCullough. I think he might have just increased somebody else's minutes, but overall, they're getting the opportunity due to injuries. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to those opportunities when Hart is back, McBride is back, to the minutes, I mean, and Shaman. And Shaman is back. But I think some of this is coming from the top as well. The Knicks made it very clear when they fired Tom Thibodeau, they had the bullet points in it. When they hired Mike, we hired him because he played young people. He did like bullet points in it. And, somebody told me Mike Brown had a minute sheet that he handed in to Leon Rose after I never heard that, but somebody said that. So some of what we're seeing is, coming from the top that he's instituting.
I agree 100% because even early in the year, I think it's gotten a little bit better, but early in the year, it seemed like every Mike Brown post game, he touched on all those bullet points as well. You know what I mean? Like it was like, dude, it sounded like you reading the you know what I mean? The statement the Knicks put out. Like, all right, I gotta touch on this. I gotta say this, and then I got, you know what I mean? I gotta
give praise to the assistant coaches. Yep. I gotta do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What was it? The Josh Hart starting lineup thing. Yeah, to be honest, it wasn't, it was my coaching staff. They all, I was the one guy who voted against it. Everybody else voted for it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, dude, are you telling the truth or are you just trying to, keep this narrative going? But I think it's a mixture. I think it really is a collective. You know what I mean? They probably have group meetings after games, and you know what I mean? They sit down collectively and put it to a vote. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe he has veto power, but he's gonna listen to the collective and give everything a shot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And listen, he knows how to. I'm not going to say play the game because I don't think it's a game, but he, just like the whole narrative with Brunson and the MVP and OG and Mikal and the All-Star game, he knows how to keep his bosses happy. He know this is what they're looking for. These are the buzzwords. Not only am I going to do it, right, but I'm also going to talk about it. Those sound bites are going to be out there. So just, kudos for him for doing the job that he's doing and making sure they see it, and making sure they, they hear it. And listen, Tom Thibodeau might have been here if he was more collaborative. Tom Thibodeau might have been here if he was able to hear them say, listen, we need to bring these minutes down. This is what we want as an organization. You may not agree with it. This may not be your philosophy. It may not even be Mike Brown's philosophy, but this is what we want as an organization. And Tom Thibodeau just wasn't able to, wasn't willing to hear that, which is why they were very strong in their bullet points when he was out the door and when they hired the new coach, So kudos for Mike Brown for coming in and being, and being who he is. And 2 years from now, it'll be another story, right? Just like what's happening in Cleveland, right? Kenny Atkinson, oh my God. Now he's on the hot seat just 1 year later. The NBA comes at you fast,
Yeah. I mean, and think about their coach prior to JB. You know what I mean? Like, and now he's out in Detroit. You know what I mean? Taking the lessons that he learned from the Cleveland team and said, you know what? We need toughness. That's gonna be our MO.
And was it even a coach in Cleveland now? When
Mm-hmm.
you understand what I'm saying?
That's
Like
what that's what I'm going.
yeah.
Like,
To me, with coaching, not to underplay it, because I coach myself, it's a dynamic. You can get the right players, the right performances, the just the right time, and it's just like it just goes, it blows up, it's good. Then there's one change, there's one injury, one player doesn't play as well. You make one decision, it blows up, and next thing you know, you're the worst coach ever.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's very dynamic. But we're in a good spot right now. All right. Any last shout out to JJ. Appreciate you joining us, Jabroni joining us, East Blue Drew, of course. Any last words or anything we didn't cover that you wanna add?
I know you you taking a long road with some of the young guys. You know what I mean, as far as but who, if you had to place a bet on the contributor, the young contributor, come playoff time, who would what would your pecking order be?
It would be
Obviously it would
Kolek.
probably have to be Kolek first.
Kolek would be first. After that, deal after that Diawara, but with this caveat for me, in the playoffs, the margins are slimmer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need Diawara coming in putting up 5 shots. Like I need Diawara like coming in, like if he's focused on defending, rebounding, moving the ball, I think he'll be an asset for us. I don't think we need him coming in shooting. Obviously, if the ball swings to him and it's a wide over shot,
Mm-hmm.
take the shot.
Yeah.
But for me, it would be Kolek Diawara, and that would be it would be Kolek, Hawkporty, then Diawara.
I think I'm going the same way. Right as of right now, today, I'm going the same way. Kolek, Hawkporty, because Hawkporty, he got chances because he might get minutes because of foul trouble. He might get minutes because of injury. Like he has the highest
likelihood
of just getting the minutes based off of necessity than anybody after Kolek. I'm going DOR third right now, but I got my eye on McCullough, man, because I've been waiting for him to get some opportunity, and for this to be his first big opportunity and him to show out the way he did. Very encouraging, very encouraging. So, yeah. Daddy ain't getting pushed down the depth chart. You know what I mean? There was a lot of people high on him coming into the year. Shout out to Sim. You know what I mean? But he's getting pushed down the depth chart.
Yeah, for sure. But I will say this, and shout out to Big Freezy. I was talking to him before we came on. It also depends, Tony, the position they're in. Like I don't have any problems with a young player being a 9th or 10th guy on the team because they're not going to hurt you. You know, if they're playing well, you dial the minutes up. If they're not playing well, you dial the minutes down and give it to somebody else. But when you're putting them in a position of need where you're counting on them game in and game out, for example, Kolek as the backup to Brunson, to me, that's a little different than a McCullough, Hawkporty, or somebody coming in and giving you some minutes. It's a little different to me.
And my last thing on McCullough, just like Tyler, that 4 years in college means the world of difference. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So you talk about 4 years in college, you talk about the red shirt year. You know what I mean? Like he's young, but he ain't young. You know what I'm saying? Like he's older than the average young guy, and I think that those 4 years of college and even the transferring and all that, all those experiences, like that grows character, and you know, that'll help him on the journey, the NBA journey. You know what I mean? So he might be a little bit above the curve with some of the other younger guys just because of that in-depth experience.
Yeah. And the other thing, Tone, is the CBA. You want to have cheap contracts, right? That helps, you know. So if McCullough is in the rotation 2 years from now because of what's going on right now, that bodes well for you, right? If Kolek is the backup point guard to Brunson next year and the year after because of what he like, that bodes well for you, right? Because now you're getting these cheaper contracts. I don't know if you can sign them to a McBride type contract. If you can, you might want to do it, you know, but then you're going to lose some flexibility now because the Knicks are like right up against it. I don't know if they want to do that, you know, for McCullough, but you know, this is why that front office gets paid the big bucks, you know, to kind of, you know, you got to have some cheap talent on, you know, on your roster.
100% agreed.
Yeah. Anyway, Tone, is always a pleasure. You're welcome anytime. That's the forever link you have to the
I started, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now I just got to go to the email and look for the stars,
but which is a different link for the Thursday show.
Oh, okay.
Each show has a different forever link.
Okay. So
this is the one for the game recap.
I'm not sure what. I'm
gonna send you an email with all three of them in. It's gonna say forever link and the show and the link underneath it. So any show you want to pop on, you or Sam want to pop on, yeah, definitely can. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the silent listeners. We appreciate you all. If you're not subscribed to Knicks and Bruises, the QR code is right there on Tony's side of the screen, on my right side. So be sure to check him out, and be sure to check him out on MBK. I see the Losers Lounge. I got the fat graphics now. Love it.
We should be doing one today. So
for real?
Check out the Losers Lounge today.
Yeah, nothing but Nick. Shout out to Sim as well. All right, family. Until next time, peace.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.